This is the Dallas Morning News. It's Tuesday, February 25th. Another foggy start to the day, but once the sun burns that off, it will be mostly sunny with a high of 75. Mainly clear tonight with some fog moving in later this evening, and the low will be 53. Here are today's headlines. Governor Greg Abbott directed the Texas Rangers to investigate the circumstances behind two lottery jackpots, saying the winnings raised questions about the fairness and integrity of the Texas lottery. One jackpot, $95 million paid in April of 2023, went to an entity that purchased more than 25 million $1 tickets, giving it access to nearly every possible number combination. A second winning ticket, which paid $83.5 million earlier this month, was purchased from an Austin store that is connected to a courier, a third-party service that sells lottery tickets online. Abbott's announcement came hours after the Texas Lottery banned online lottery ticket sales by couriers. The new policy was effective immediately and aligns with legislative efforts to address serious concerns raised by players and state leadership regarding the integrity, security, honesty, and fairness of lottery operations. Retailers that continue working with a courier service would have their sales agent license revoked. In other news, a former Lewisville police officer who allegedly sexually assaulted an intoxicated woman after driving her home in his marked vehicle last year is now accused by another woman of stalking her while on duty. Kristen Mims, a 27-year-old single mother of two who works from home, filed a complaint against Philemon Perez on December 7th, the day after the Lewisville Police Department announced he was facing a sexual assault charge, according to records obtained by the Dallas Morning News. Mims alleged Perez had stalked her for several months last year while on duty. On February 14th, Lewisville police sent the case and a stalking charge recommendation to the Denton County District Attorney's Office. That's according to First Assistant Criminal District Attorney Jamie Beck. She said on the same day her office was still reviewing Perez's previous case. Mims is not the only woman who has come forward about Perez's on-duty conduct following the December announcement. And along with complaints Lewisville police received prior to the reported sexual assault, there are now 5 reports about the former officer. More broadly, a criminal justice expert said the department's general orders lack a specific policy that describes and addresses the full range of police sexual misconduct and its early warning signs. Next up, Texas public schools could risk losing money and see staffers fired if they implement DEI programs under a bill filed by a Republican senator on Monday. School leaders were digesting the bill on Monday, and it remains unclear how it could influence everyday work in classrooms. The legislation clarifies that schools could still commemorate various holidays and months, such as Black History Month. The legislation from Senator Brandon Creighton, Republican from Conroe, seeks to make good on Governor Greg Abbott's pledge to ban DEI in grades K through 12. Lawmakers are expected to debate the bill aimed at expanding the state's ban on diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts on Thursday. The legislation would prohibit schools from implementing hiring practices that consider race or gender, allowing differential treatment of or providing special benefits to people based on their race or ethnicity. They could not develop training programs that reference race, color, ethnicity, gender identity, or sexual orientation. According to the bill, school officials could not have staff, contractors, or volunteers engaging in DEI duties, except as required by law. And does this sound familiar? A plan is announced to address some persistent Dallas problem. We all get excited and argue about the relative merits and costs of the plan. Time passes and the plan is either forgotten or shelved. A new plan that looks a lot like the old plan is introduced to solve the same problem, which has only gotten worse in the interim. Rinse and repeat. Why do we do this to ourselves? It's a lot easier, politically, financially, logistically, to make a new plan than to follow through on an old one. The result is that Dallas can make you feel like you're living in a bizarro North Texas version of the film Groundhog Day. The latest example of this cycle in action is a $30 million plan commissioned by the Thanksgiving Foundation and first presented to the City Council in January to remake Thanksgiving Square, the perennially underperforming downtown park designed by architect Philip Johnson. This follows a 2021 plan released by the Thanksgiving Foundation to, you guessed it, remake that same park. Now, there's a lot more to this article, and you can read it at dallasnews.com. Thanks for listening. For more on today's stories and the latest breaking news, visit dallasnews.com. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow with more from the Dallas Morning News.